The morning light drifts through the curtains, soft and golden. Margaret sits by the window, her hands wrapped around a warm cup of tea. Outside, the world stirs slowly, but inside, her body feels heavy. Her shoulders ache, not from work but from years of holding on. Holding memories, holding worries, holding the quiet weight of time. She sighs, feeling a tight pull near her neck. It's not pain, just a reminder. A whisper that her body has been waiting for a pause. At 64, she's learned that rest is not weakness. It's wisdom. She watches the steam rise from her cup, twisting and fatting into the morning air. And she wonders when she last took a moment to truly breathe. To move slowly. To stretch not just her body, but her heart. The house is silent, except for the soft rhythm of her breath. She closes her eyes. In this stillness, she makes a promise. Today, she will move gently. Today, she will begin again. Not to chase youth, but to feel alive here now. Margaret opens the window a little wider. Cool morning air brushes against her face, gentle and alive. She feels it move across her skin, light as memory. The world outside hums quietly, like a promise she almost forgot. Birds sing in the distance, soft and uncertain, just waking. She listens, and the sound seems to reach something deep inside her. Her shoulders lift slightly, then settle again. It's as if they are listening too. She takes a deep breath and lets it go slowly. The air moves through her chest, loosening something tight. For a moment, she just sits there, doing nothing at all. But in that stillness, she begins to hear her body speak. A quiet conversation between muscle and mind. A whisper that says, "I'm still here." Years of routine have made her forget what this feels like. The rhythm of care, the language of presence. She thinks of all the mornings she rushed through. How she ignored the ache in her neck. How she told herself, "It's nothing." But the body remembers everything. Every moment of tension. Every breath she held back when life demanded too much. She looks down at her hands, resting on her lap. They are steady, lined with time, full of stories. These hands once carried groceries, comforted a child, typed letters to friends. Now they rest quietly, ready to begin again. She rolls her shoulders back just a little. The movement feels strange at first, like waking something that's been sleeping. The muscles resist, then sigh. A soft pop echoes from her joints, not painful, just real. She smiles. It's been a long time since she paid attention to this part of herself. Her body feels older, yes, but also wiser. It knows how to move, how to release, how to heal if she listens. She remembers her doctor's words, "Slow is strong." She didn't understand then. Now she does. Slow is not weak. Slow is patient. Slow is kind. She lifts her shoulders again, just a little higher. She holds the breath, then lets them fall, letting go of a tiny piece of the world. The air leaves her lungs, soft and easy. Her chest feels lighter. Her heart beats calm. She feels a quiet spark of gratitude for this body that has carried her through every season, for the small chance to care for it now. She glances out the window again. The sun has climbed higher, painting warmth across the floor. She imagines the light as a hand, resting gently on her shoulder, reminding her that healing doesn't come from force. It comes from noticing, from choosing to be gentle when life tells you to hurry. Margaret closes her eyes. She breathes in again, slow and full. And she thinks, maybe this is what peace feels like. Not loud, not grand, but steady and real. A quiet reminder that every breath is a beginning. And every beginning, no matter how small, is enough. Margaret places her teacup down on the small wooden table. The warmth lingers on her palms, gentle and grounding. She straightens her spine, feeling the curve of her back align. For a moment, she notices how gravity pulls her down. Not harshly but steadily, like time itself. She smiles faintly, realizing how much she's leaned forward in life. Always reaching. Always doing. Now she wants to pull herself back, to balance again. Her hands rest softly on her knees. She feels the solid connection of her body to the chair. Her breath moves in and out, quiet and deep. She begins her first stretch, slow as morning light. Rolling her shoulders back, one circle at a time. The motion feels tender, almost uncertain. The muscles respond, hesitating then loosening. There's a gentle rhythm in her movement, like waves. Each roll sweeps away a small piece of tiredness. The stiffness melts a little with every round. She closes her eyes, focusing only on the motion. Her breath follows her shoulders. Inhale up. Exhale down. She feels the breath tracing the path of release. It moves through her chest, through her arms, through her heart. And with it, something inside her softens. She can almost hear the quiet music of her body waking. A subtle hum, a reminder of life flowing beneath the skin. It's not about stretching far. It's about feeling present. Her mind wants to rush, to finish the motion quickly. But she catches herself. Not today. Today is for slow. For noticing. For being here. She rolls her shoulders forward now, revering the circle. The change feels strange at first, but freeing. Her breath deepens again. She can sense warmth spreading along her upper back. It's a simple movement, yet it carries memory. She remembers the days she worked at her desk, hunched for hours. The weight of years sitting still. The feeling of muscles forgotten. And now with each small motion, she reclaims that space. The air feels easier to breathe. Her neck feels longer. Her arms lighter. She opens her eyes slowly, and the world looks softer. Outside, a few leaves dance in the wind. She thinks of how they move, effortless, unhurried. Maybe her body can learn from them. Maybe peace is not stillness, but movement without tension. She rolls her shoulders one last time, then lets them rest. The quiet after the motion feels rich and full. Her body hums gently, like the world has tuned itself to her breath. She sits there for a moment longer, letting it sink in. The feeling of space. The feeling of calm. She whispers to herself, almost a prayer. Thank you. For her body. For this small freedom. For the reminder that even at 64, new beginnings can start in a single, slow circle. And that sometimes, the simplest motion can open the widest peace. Margaret sits still for a moment, feeling the warmth spread across her shoulders. The tension she once ignored now feels visible, alive, ready to be released. She takes another slow breath, deep and deliberate. Her lungs fill, lifting her chest slightly, expanding her ribs. Then she exhales, soft and steady, like the tide retreating from the shore. Her hands rest on her thighs, light and relaxed. She decides to begin her second stretch. The one her therapist showed her. A simple lift. A small act of release. She inhales, lifting her shoulders toward her ears. They rise slowly, climbing with her breath. She holds them there for a few seconds, feeling the weight gather. The air thickens around her neck. Her muscles tremble gently, not from pain but from effort. Then she exhales, letting the shoulders fall. They drop like rain, falling into stillness. And with them, something invisible falls too. The quiet pressure she didn't know she carried. She repeats the motion again, slower this time. Up with the breath. Down with the sigh. Each rise gathers tension. Each fall washes it away. Her body begins to understand the rhythm. The up is strength. The down is surrender. Together, they balance each other like two halves of peace. She can feel her heartbeat now, soft but certain. It echoes in her chest, reminding her she's still here, still alive, still able to care for herself. Margaret keeps moving, lifting and lowering. Her breath and body dance together in quiet harmony. She notices how the movement becomes smoother, easier. The stiffness melts little by little. Her shoulders, once heavy, start to float. It's almost like her body is thanking her. Thank you for listening. Thank you for slowing down. Thank you for remembering me. She smiles at the thought. There's something sacred about these simple gestures. No machines. No noise. Just breath and movement and awareness. She closes her eyes again. The world narrows to the sound of her breathing. The soft creak of the chair beneath her. The rhythm of lift and release. Up and down. Tension and calm. Her thoughts slow to match the pace of her body. The worries of yesterday lose their sharp edges. Her mind begins to quiet, like dust settling in sunlight. She lifts her shoulders one last time. Holds. Then lets go completely. The release feels deeper this time, almost emotional. Her body feels lighter, her spirit softer. She didn't expect this much peace from such a small act. But maybe peace doesn't come in grand gestures. Maybe it comes in moments like this. A breath. A drop. A quiet letting go. Margaret opens her eyes, the room glowing gently around her. The tension is gone, replaced by stillness. She touches her shoulder lightly, feeling warmth beneath her skin. And she knows this isn't just movement. It's healing in its purest, simplest form. Margaret takes another breath, deeper this time, steady and calm. Her body feels lighter now, her chest open like morning air. She looks at her hands, resting quietly in her lap, steady and familiar. There's one more stretch she remembers, one that always makes her smile. She raises her right arm slowly, feeling the gentle pull along her shoulder. The motion is slow, patient, like turning the page of an old book. She brings her arm across her chest, guiding it with her left hand. Her fingers rest softly against her upper arm, holding it close. The pressure is mild, just enough to awaken what's sleeping. The stretch flows through her shoulder, through her neck, through her back. She exhales, letting her body melt into the moment. It feels less like a stretch, more like an embrace. Her own arms wrapping around herself, quietly saying, "I'm here." She stays there for a few breaths, feeling the warmth build. Her muscles lengthen slowly, releasing what's been trapped for years. The ache that once felt sharp now feels gentle, kind. She's not forcing it, she's listening. Listening to her body's language, spoken through small sensations. She remembers all the years she ignored these messages. The times she said, "I'll rest later." The times she carried too much for too long. But here in this quiet room, later has become now. She switches sides, lifting her left arm and drawing it across her chest. Her right hand supports it gently, guiding it into place. The second stretch feels different, deeper, maybe more personal. This side always carried a little more. She holds the pose, breathing through the resistance. Each exhale softens the edge. Each inhale brings a wave of calm. Her heart beats beneath her arm, steady and strong. She notices it, the quiet rhythm that has carried her through everything. A lifetime of laughter and loss, joy and fatigue. Her breath syncs with the heartbeat, a duet of life. She closes her eyes, holding herself a little closer. This isn't just about flexibility. It's about forgiveness. Forgiving her body for the times it couldn't keep up. Forgiving herself for the times she didn't listen. Her eyes open slowly, and she lets her arms fall to her sides. The room feels softer, brighter. Her shoulders rest lower than before, relaxed and easy. She smiles, not the quick smile of politeness, but the kind that comes from peace. It's a smile born from release, from gratitude. She didn't know a stretch could feel like kindness. But it does. It feels like coming home. She sits still for a moment longer, her hands resting on her heart. Her breath deepens again, carrying warmth through her chest. And in that quiet space between inhale and exhale, she feels something bloom. A calm acceptance. A quiet love for the body that has always carried her, even when she forgot to care. Margaret stays seated, her hands resting lightly on her knees. The air around her feels different now, calmer, softer, almost new. The tension that once wrapped around her shoulders has faded like fog in sunlight. She closes her eyes and lets her breath take the lead. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow, steady, peaceful. Her breath moves like a quiet tide, washing through every corner of her body. With each inhale, she feels expansion. With each exhale, she feels release. Her heartbeat settles into a gentle rhythm, calm and familiar. She listens to it, as if it's telling her a story she once forgot. A story of survival, of patience, of quiet strength. Her mind begins to wander, but not in the usual restless way. It drifts gently, like a feather on still water. Images float in, the laughter of her grandchildren, the warmth of sunlight on her porch. Small things, beautiful things. She smiles without meaning to. Her shoulders rise slightly with her breath, then fall like soft waves. Every movement feels connected, like her body and mind have finally agreed to rest together. She thinks of how long she's chased stillness without finding it. All those mornings spent rushing, chasing purpose, forgetting peace. But here, in this simple rhythm of breath, she finds what she was looking for. The world feels far away now, but in a comforting way. It's as if everything outside the room has slowed to match her heartbeat. She breathes again, counting slowly in her mind. 1, 2, 3, inhale. 4, 5, 6, exhale. Each count melts into the next, like waves overlapping on the shore. Her mind quiets completely. She no longer thinks about the next task or the next day. She is simply here, present, alive. The air feels lighter inside her chest. Her back rests easily against the chair, her spine tall but relaxed. She opens her hands slightly, palms facing upward. It's a gesture she learned from her meditation class years ago. An offering, a sign of openness. She imagines the breath moving through her fingers, out into the world. A gift of calm shared with whatever might be listening. The space around her seems to breathe back. A gentle silence filled with peace. She realizes she hasn't felt this connected to herself in years. Not since before the rush of work, family, obligation. All the noise that fills a life. Now there is only breath. Only presence. Only her. Margaret opens her eyes slowly. The light in the room glows softer, like the end of a golden afternoon. Her heart feels open. Her shoulders are free. She whispers to herself, barely audible. This is what calm feels like. And for the first time in a long while, she truly believes it. She breathes again, slow, deep, grateful, and lets the peace stay a little longer. The next morning arrives quietly, soft light spilling across the kitchen floor. Margaret moves slower now, but not from age, from intention. Every step feels deliberate, every breath a small ceremony. She pours her tea, the sound of water steady and familiar. The warmth fills her hands again, just like yesterday. But something inside her feels different today. Lighter, calmer, more aware. She carries the cup to her favorite chair by the window. The world outside is still waking, but her mind already hums with peace. She sets the tea down and places her hands on her knees. The movements she learned yesterday return like a quiet melody. Her shoulders roll back. Once, twice, slow and gentle. Her breath follows, deep and steady, syncing with the rhythm of her body. It's no longer an exercise. It's a ritual, a promise she's made to herself to keep moving, gently and with care. She lifts her shoulders to her ears and lets them drop again. The release feels familiar now, like the body remembering a song. She smiled as she feels the warmth return to her muscles. Every breath carries ease instead of effort. Every movement feels like a soft thank you to the body that carries her. She crosses her arm over her chest, holding it close. The stretch feels like a hug from within, a reminder that care doesn't need to come from anyone else. She is capable of giving it to herself. Outside, a breeze touches the curtains, moving them gently. She watches the fabric dance, slow and graceful. It reminds her of how her body moves now, not fast, not perfect, but full of purpose. For years, she thought slowing down meant falling behind. Now she knows it means catching up with herself. She takes another breath, letting it fill every quiet space inside her. Her shoulders rise and fall, peaceful as the ocean's tide. The tension that once defined her mornings no longer lingers. In its place is a calm that feels unshakable. She finishes her stretches, but doesn't rush to stand. Instead, she stays still, letting the calm settle deeper. She looks around her small home, the books, the photos, the plants reaching for light. Each one feels part of her story. Each one holds a piece of time she's lived through. And she realizes something simple yet profound. Healing doesn't come from big moments. It comes from the small ones repeated with love. A breath, a stretch, a pause. Every morning now, she will give herself these minutes. Not to fix what's broken, but to honor what still works. Her body, her breath, her heart. She lifts her cup of tea and takes a slow sip. The warmth spreads again, calm and grounding. Outside, the sun rises fully, lighting the day with quiet grace. Margaret smiles. Another morning begins. And she begins with it, steady, slow, and beautifully alive. The day fades gently, and the light softens across the room. Margaret sits by the window once more, her breath calm and even. The world outside hums quietly, slow and distant. She feels the peace she built today still resting on her shoulders. No tension, no rush, only calm. She thinks about how far she's come without even leaving her chair. Every slow stretch, every quiet breath has become a kind of healing, a way to return home to herself. She smiles, touching her shoulder lightly, feeling warmth beneath her skin. The ache is gone, replaced by something softer, gratitude. Gratitude for her body, still steady after all these years. Gratitude for the stillness that once scared her, but now feels like safety. Outside, the first stars appear, faint and tender. She takes one more breath, deep and full, and lets it go. The air leaves her body in a quiet sigh of peace. Tomorrow will come with its own weight, its own noise. But tonight she carries nothing. Only breath, only stillness, only the gentle reminder that slowing down was never losing, it was finally arriving.